Hey everybody, welcome back to 15 Good Minutes. It's your guy, Coach B. Today I'm here with Freddie. What's going on, Freddie?
Much. How are you, Russell?
I'm good, sir. JR is out this week. He'll be back next week. So we're going to do our level best to hold it down for JR. We're gonna pick up today's show from the point of last week with the question of the week, where we were asking, what do you think about AAU? And what I want to do today, Freddie, is I want to keep it for now anyway, in the basketball realm.
AAU, when I first heard of it, I took it as AAU basketball. To be on an AAU team, it was a privilege. You were actually pretty good in your community or on your high school team or what have you. And it was potentially a springboard for you to get to the next level in high school and put you on the map.
Right.
Now in this day and age, I think it's really more so incentivized or personalized, if you will, because it's not. I think the game of basketball has changed so much since the mid '90s to where it is now. You have these kids. They have more opportunities to play and be showcased, and there's more camps and things of that nature. So I think right now, I think the AAU circuit is probably suffering pretty bad, unless you're just one of those major programs, the CP3 camps, the Kevin Durant camps, the Carmelo Anthony, teams. I think overall it's probably struggling pretty bad.
Yeah, I think that I'm probably in the same place that you are. When I first started really getting serious about high school basketball, there was ABCD camp, I think it was called. There was 5-star, and a couple of 5-stars throughout the country. And if you got invited to those, that's a pretty good thing. The play was competitive, and more times than not, it got you ready, for a really good continuation of your high school career and I know in the college. But like you said, I think it's a bit diluted now in the sense that there are so many AAU teams, and how do I say this? The level of expertise in coaching when compared to the number of teams that are playing is way off. So in a lot of cases, you end up with parents coaching. And usually it's the parent of one or two of the children that are on that specific team. When I first started coaching high school, like I said, 1 or 2 shows ago, Mark Sewell was my mentor. And he told me, he said, people are going to ask you, if you want to coach AAU. And I'm thinking, all right, well, it's the summer. Why not? And then he told me why he didn't. And he said, it's not the same as high school. There's much more. If you think that the parents are in your shit from the high school basketball in terms of, why is my child not playing and all this kind of stuff, magnify that by 200 or 300 for AAU. I'm not saying it's pay to play, Freddie. I'm saying it's you pay, and the expectation
is they're gonna play.
The expectation is that yes, that kid's going to play, and it's way too many people, in my opinion, that don't have the skill set to teach your child the fundamentals of the sport. We would see it all the time. By the time I would get a 9th grader as a freshman, the parents are licking their chops. Yep, he was an AAU star of the Eastern Seaboard, blah, 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 but the kid can't dribble with his left hand. He can't play good man-to-man defense. He's always hugging his guy. He doesn't understand the shell principle, how to help off and things of this nature. And then the parents are in this shock mode. And here's the thing, Freddie. I mean, it's the purpose of it, I think, is really good. I think the idea that your kid can continue to play and develop is awesome. You have to do that in any sport, baseball, football, soccer, it doesn't matter. But if you're involved in something as big as it, and this thing is huge, like, for you guys don't know, Freddie and I were just on the AAU website, and I'll put a link into the show notes. The number of tournaments is ever. I mean, they're traveling all over the place. I'm talking about Oregon, Florida, California. And so these tournaments just get made up. And when I was scrolling through, there was a box that said, you want to create your own team? Click here. I mean, have you seen that? And how do you how do you explain to a parent that really does have their kid's best interest at heart that there may be a better way to help that child develop?
I think right now with the AAU and as well as with other sports, I think the issue, pretty much like with anything else in the world, in society that we're in now, we're in a microwave society to where it's about here and now. I don't want to wait 2, 3 years to grow, develop, whatever the case may be. It's about production right now. And I think that's why you see um such mediocre play in AAU tournaments as well as any other sports or whatever. And that's just because it's so, again, there's so many different opportunities, whatever sport you're playing, but for the sake of this discussion, we're talking about AAU basketball.
Yeah,
There's so many different other leagues that in programs that kids can be playing in to where they can get notoriety or whatever, or for that matter, you can YouTube it or
true.
you do a TikTok or Facebook or whatever, and you just go viral, and then all of a sudden. So I think right now is so many different options for someone to get noticed, to where I think with the coaching standpoint, from a coaching standpoint, coaches aren't, some, not all, but those that are coaches that are the parents of the kid, if you will, it's just about promoting, getting their kid
Yeah,
film, getting them on a highlight, and you put it on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram or whatever, and it gets to this person, gets to that person, and next thing you know, Coach Calipari at Kentucky sees it, Coach Davis at UNC sees it, whoever, and then next thing you know, the officers start, flying in. And I think that's, it's not about developing the kid, teaching the kid how to dribble with both hands, how to defend, one-on-one, and how to shoot free throws and things of that nature, the key fundamentals of a sport. And I think that's it's the society and the world that we live in, to where everyone wants that instant gratification right here and right now, to where the fundamentals are being lost in translation.
I think you're 100% spot on. It is a microwave society, and it just trickles down from the parents to the kids. And the expectation in some cases, Freddie, like you mentioned, some of these AU programs are really, really good. Those high-end ones, high talented kids, with high talented sponsorship and things like that. So the competition isn't too bad. But in some cases, a parent's assumption is that because your kid was on one of those teams, you as the coach, as the high school coach, is thinking, okay, they must be good just because they were a member of that team. And it goes to your point about the expectation. I would say this to parents, take a really hard look at the programs. You have to make this decision for yourself, but what is your kid doing to better him or herself as an athlete and as a teammate? If, for example, we have this conversation every year, I'm sure you had it in football once we went through cuts. Some parents and kids would come back and say, what do I need to work on? And I would tell them, I would tell them point blank, one, you're too slow. You have to move your feet better. I will show you how to do that and would be willing to work with that kid, in the off season. But if all they're going to do after I tell them that their footwork is slow or they can't finish with the left is throw the kid on the AAU program and no one's teaching that child how to get better, I think you've wasted money. I think you've wasted time. And more importantly, you're giving that child the illusion or the expectation that maybe greatness is coming, and I don't think it will. So, yeah, thanks for that, man. I think it's an ongoing discussion. I will say this: I know coaches that do coach AAU. I'm sure you do as well. It's very difficult, and if you're a full-time varsity coach, even JV, Freddie, at the high school level, the amount of time that it would take for you after your season to put into AAU,
Right.
it could wear you down.
Yeah, it definitely can. I mean, you have to have a serious love and passion and dedication, as well as having a committed base
Yeah.
to continue to carry on to doing it from preseason to in season to off season, back to preseason. You have to have
A lot of support, buddy.
you have to. If not, it'll burn you out really quick.
And let's not forget, I mean, there's a lot of money tied to AAU. just regular AAU. If you're going to be competitive, you got to go to all these different tournaments. You know, you have to pay, you have to go out and do your fundraisers. I'm talking about the parent and the kid. It's a lot of things that are non-basketball. I'll put it that way, and it could be with others. So, if any parents have success stories or others that they want to share with us, by all means, reach out. I'm going to pivot now and talk a little bit about travel, because as you guys know, like, JR's not here this week. We normally tape on one particular day of the week, but we're changing it this week because, Freddie's traveling again. I just got back from San Diego. I think Freddie's going to San Diego. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit, about preferences. When you travel like you do, do you have a system of travel, like say from the time you're going on a trip through booking the airline you get in the hotel? What are your preferences there?
If I'm going for work, I will take what is the best option for work. What is the best option for work? Now, if it's personal, I mean, I'm going on a trip tomorrow to San Diego. I'm flying Soul Plane, aka Southwest. Right. And the only reason why I'm doing that is because
we're gonna make Freddie a Southwest member. I'm telling you all right now.
And this is no knock on Southwest. It's just I don't like the way they do things or whatever. I don't think their boarding process is efficient. If you're not a Southwest reward point card member or whatever, I just don't think it's efficient. It's not saying that they're a bad airline. So I'm, by no stretch of the imagination, am I trying to deter anyone from flying Southwest.
Who's your preferred hotel line when you travel?
Hyatt.
I like to be at the airport 90 minutes before my flight is due. I mean, when I say it, I mean, I like to be through security at that point. I just do. I'm not a big fan. And there's a buddy of mine, I'm not going to say his name, Coach Ward, but there's a buddy of mine that come flying through the airport like OJ used to back in the day. I mean, he can cut it right down to the wire. I'm not that guy. I don't like to fly the day of business, if that makes sense. So let's say, we're there from Monday through Thursday. The conference ends Thursday at noon. I'm flying home on Friday. I don't do red eyes anymore. I'm just tired of it. So if I'm there for any part of that business day, I just stick it out. Like you were talking about relaxing at in the airport. I find something to do in any city, or get caught up on my reading, or I'm always editing something. So I have one of the laptops with me, but I stopped trying to fly on a day that I have to do any work. And then lastly for me is Hilton Honors. So Hilton properties, there's several of them, Homewood Suites and Hilton, and they have different. So I can usually find something that's going to get my points up. And I'm a loyal Southwest member. Freddie and I just disagree on that, but I've been Southwest for a long time. I love free luggage. I love the points. And if you're ever traveling with golf clubs, they can save you a bunch of money. We're about to wrap up, but before we do, I'm going to throw it over to Freddie for our question of the week.
The question of the week is, how do you feel about the Roe versus Wade being overturned? I think this is a topic that at some point has impacted someone that we know, whether it be a family member or friend or what have you. What do you think about it? We want to know from our listeners, how do you feel about it?
You guys can provide your answer either here on YouTube at 15 Good Minutes or on Twitter at 15 Good Minutes. We will gather up those responses and we'll talk about them next week. Thanks, Freddie, for a great question. As always, guys, we thank you for rocking with us, and we appreciate the time that you spend with us. We look forward to having these short 15-minute conversations with you each and every week. Freddie, safe travels next week, my man.
Thank you.
And JR, we'll see you when you get back. All right, everybody have a great week. Thanks for listening.